Welcome to Special Zone. As I told you, Jane had to take a sip of choice, and now she's feeling comfortable to continue with the conversation. We have heard about her past experience, being born and raised as a child, and now we would like to hear some few stuff, what she's doing currently, the journey, how far has she come, what is she seeing, what are the 5, 10, 15 years ahead. Jen has a room for us to learn as well. As we are continuing, I would like to start by understanding. Jen, you have told us much about your past experience. We have learned your journey. You have seen how the parents contributed much to raise the family of different siblings with different calibers and personalities. And you took the road that you thought suits you better. And I know you are doing much better. Just to understand now, the way you look at me, you're still single.
Yes, I am. You're
No,
right. You're right.
just, let's be honest. Do you still single?
Yeah, I am single.
What makes you single today?
Well, I think, first of all, I'm not obligated not to be single. So I think I can be single for as long as I feel like it's necessary and it's appropriate until I meet someone that I think is the right person.
The right one.
Yeah.
So you're looking for the right person. What make you? What is the definition, the genuine definition of the right person to you?
Oh, the genuine definition of the right person to me is the person that my heart feels like that is right.
Okay.
I do believe in intuition. I'm a big believer in intuition.
Okay.
I listen to my heart. Every time, whenever I need to do it, I need to make a decision, I listen to my intuition, I listen to my heart. So when I meet the right person,
You will know.
I will know that
Your
it's
heart
the
will
right
tell
person.
you.
My heart
Does
will
your
tell
heart
me so.
speak?
It does speak, and
Uh-huh.
it speaks a lot.
Okay.
And I try to be as obedient to it as possible, because sometimes your heart can say one thing and then your mind says another. When I have those conflicting voices, I always choose to listen to my
I'm very
heart.
much interested in that. Your heart says A, and your mind says
My
B.
mind says.
What do
says
you do
B.
best to compromise that? How do you improvise that type of feeling? Are you following your heart or following your mind?
It's usually an uncomfortable space to be. It's not the space that I would. It's not a space that I would rather be. But every now and then I find myself in that space. And when I find myself in that space, I often choose to go with my heart, because I know that even though my mind will be saying one thing, my heart knows better. And looking back at previous experiences, the moments where I force myself to choose to listen to my heart always turned out okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So your heart is the best organ for you to listen to.
Yes.
A friend of mine told me, protect your heart. And actually, that's going to be my next speech. Because I was writing it. I was told to protect my heart. And I said, well, how can I protect my heart? Is it psychological? Is it physical? That I have to make sure that I punch everyone who comes close to my heart? I don't know. But I was told to protect my heart. And in a way that your heart will always be safe, to make sure that it communicates with you and it gives you the right response that you want. It's my prayer that you find that right one. And I believe I'll be there when you find him, right?
Amen.
I'll be
You
invited.
definitely
I'll be
will.
invited.
You'll be one of the first people to know.
Yeah, it's how I start the second part of a conversation with Jane. Jane, I'm very much interested to know what you're currently doing. You have been mentioning about the biological terms I was even failing to repeat. And I know in work you're doing researches, specifically in public health. Would you like to at least give us a little, you can deep dive to give us a little understanding of what exactly you're doing in your researches? What are the challenges that you encounter on a day-to-day, and how does it contribute to the community that you're currently working with?
Oh, thank you, Peter, for the question. At the moment, I work in one of the organizations that implement public health programs, specifically supporting HIV programs in healthcare facilities. The work that we do mostly is supporting the implementation of the programs. That is making sure that the medications are available at the facilities. But we even go a step further than just ensuring that the medications are there. We do make efforts in finding clients where they are, like in the communities. You know, like the nature of HIV AIDS is that you may have the infection, but then you are not aware that you're infected. And in that space, you find that you're spreading the infection to other people. So what we do as an organization is we go the extra mile, first to find the potential clients out there where they are. We also go the extra mile to make sure that we distribute preventive measures in the community, and also taking part in the whole cascade of care and treatment for individuals affected by the disease, both adults, children, and as well as pregnant women.
For how long have you been doing that?
For a year now.
For a year now.
Yeah.
Before that?
Before that, I was working as an assistant lecturer at a university.
Yes. Talking about being a lecturer. Your experience as a lecturer, you deal with university students, and before that, being a student. What is the response to that? What can you tell us about the behavior of university students compared to the people that you're currently working? Are they mature enough to listen to the lecturers, or are they, not use a good word, stupid enough to challenge the lecturers, especially for the beauty lady like you? With your shape, what exactly has been your experience when you were a lecturer?
My experience as a lecturer, I can't complain about my students, really. They have been showing
support.
they've been showing support. They have been very respectful as well. They've been very collaborative. Of course, like it's a large pool of people with different backgrounds, with different characters, with different ways of doing things. But in general, I can't complain about that.
Then I believe you being a lecturer had something to contribute to your ability to serve the people that you're currently in the research that you're doing.
Indeed. That career path was very helpful in building and strengthening many of the soft skills that I have now, that I'm also applying in this other context of my career path.
Okay, so being a lecturer now, from lecturing to research, is now to Toastmasters. Family, I met this lady in the Toastmasters room. This was a venue that I entered into. And I call myself a Toastmaster because I'm a member of Tanzanite Titans Toastmasters Club. I'm lucky now to be a president of that club. Before that, I served as the vice president education of that club for the past leadership. I've been learning a lot. I've been learning conversation, I've been learning presentation skills, I've been learning networking skills. But before that, in 2018, I was attending various avenues of Toastmasters as a guest. I have been a guest for so long. I remember I used to attend South Africa online sessions for Toastmasters, and I did for almost a year. That was 2018 to 2019. I had 2 clubs that I was attending, and 2018, 2019, then I had to find clubs outside. I remember by then I came to Dar Toastmasters, and it was a brother who introduced me to a brother who took me to the venue, and I managed now to go there. But I was not that much active enough because I wanted to own the club. I wanted to be part of the club that I'll be leading and managing. And the reason for me to learn on the skills and go back to encourage and motivate an organization to have our own club. And luckily, it had been a sincere part of us forming that club and building. Guys, she has been the first evaluator. You evaluated me in the first time as a Toastmaster. So I've been learning a lot from her since we became friends. And that was a connection. I remember it was 2019? 2023, right?
2023, yes.
That's when we get connected. I still have that picture in mind. The way you evaluated me in my club and the way you welcomed me in your club, Dar Toastmasters, right? And you guys are doing a great job. And congratulations for you being the past president, immediate past president, and now the area director of our area. And I know we have a lot to talk about that right now. So I have been learning a lot from you. I've been learning a lot, and I didn't know how much can I grasp them and share to the world. I wish this platform could be a better space, at least in a nutshell, for you to tell us exactly how much you have been learning and how much you've been teaching others to grow themselves. Now, coming back to the question, you joined Toastmasters, right? What really brought you to the Toastmasters journey, and what made you want to be a leader of Toastmasters? What brought you, and what made you to be a leader in the first place? Just to start with.
What brought me to Toastmasters is very simple. Throughout my journey, my educational journey, my career journey, I have been communicating. I've been giving presentations,
Alright.
participating in meetings, in conferences, and they've been going quite well, but I've always noticed that there is room for improvement.
All right.
I could always do better in every presentation or every verbal interaction that I was in. So I had that in mind. And then another thing is, as I've already mentioned previously, I love reading books.
All right.
So one of the books, one of my favorite books that I was reading at that time, somewhere around 2020, was Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. The intention was to better my skills in networking. So while I was reading that book, one of the points suggested by the author was that in order to network effectively, you have to be good at communicating as well. So he had several recommendations and suggestions and tips of like practical things that I could implement. And one of the suggestions in the book was that if you want to practice public speaking, there is a worldwide collection of clubs known as Toastmasters that you can join and become a member and get a chance to practice more public speaking. So I was intrigued by that, and I remember I left the book alone. I went to the internet, searched Toastmasters in Tanzania, and there it was Dar Toastmasters Club. There was a contact information. I immediately called the number and I was welcome to the club. So that's how my Toastmasters journey.
You affected me when you mentioned that book. I remember we had a mentorship session with Absa, and you shared that story. And that day I just Googled that book. And I'm glad I'm reading that book right now. The plan is to read like up to March, twice if possible.
Wow.
Because I want to really understand what took you into that journey.
Well,
and through that, mine was different. I don't think if I told you, mine was different. I was going through the YouTube. I like listening a lot of things when I do some other stuff. YouTube is my best place for me. So I got into the speech of Ortesh Tobias.
The best in Toastmasters.
The best in Toastmasters. Yeah, speak up, wake up, dress up and show up. So I listened to that speech. It was 2018. Almost 2019, I remember. I listened to that speech and I was like, who is this guy? What type of speech is this? That was the structure is what got me. And when I studied about him, when I listened carefully, when I went further, I realized he had another post as well, another video as well. Let it marinate, let it simmer. When he speaks about his experience when he's abroad and the way he fell in love with the wife that he's currently having. And I'm like, what is this guy? So to me, it was going further to search for the guy. And when he mentioned Toastmaster in his speech, that's where I got into Toastmasters. And I started searching about Toastmasters. And I said, you know what? I want to be a Toastmaster because of that speech. And my dream was only one thing, to meet this guy and probably to make him my mentor. You know what? He's currently my mentor. God has made it. And he has made it through what we did on the social media. So your story is quite different from mine, but they all brought into the world of Toastmasters. And we have been experiencing various stuff within the clubs. You have been a president. Have you been a vice president before a president?
Yes. I have served in two other positions before president. That is the secretary, then vice president education, and then later on I became the president.
You're running into that level. It's quite impressive. I'm envious. I wish I could have been like you. Really. What challenges have been experienced as a president in your club?
What challenges I've experienced? The greatest challenge was actually taking up the role itself.
Role taking.
Because I walked into Toastmasters with one intention, and that is to do better with my verbal communication, be it presentations, meetings, and etc. That is what brought me to Toastmasters.
Okay.
But then the pleasant surprise I faced was that once I entered the club, I found that there's also an opportunity for brushing up my leadership skills.
All right.
And the mentor I had at the moment, fortunately, did so well at like throwing things at me. Would you take this role? Would you do this? Would you do that? And I was like, yeah, why not? I was open to, and up for the challenge.
Yeah.
So it so happened that early on in my Toastmasters journey, there was an opportunity to join the executive committee of the club, of which my mentor by then suggested that I do, which I did, and my leadership journey in Toastmasters, that's how my leadership journey in Toastmasters started. So I served as the secretary and later on as the vice president education, and then my plan was like, okay, I can serve as a vice president, that is support the president of the club, like the top person who is overseeing and running everything in the club. But then it never crossed my mind that I can also step up and take the challenge of being the president.
Yeah.
So stepping up and taking the role was one of the biggest challenges. Yes. But then once I took on the role, I discovered that in order to lead people, you need to be a people person.
All right.
You need to like people. You need to care for them as well. So I can say one of the privileges I had as when serving that role was understanding and also getting to practice in real world caring for people, caring about their welfare, caring about their journey and their progress. And I found that once I had that in place, everything else fell into place. So managing that set the tone for the rest of for the rest of my leadership team as well as the club. So I can say that's one of the very key things I learned as when serving that role.
All right. To me, I also are going through the same. As I told you, I started as a VPE, and now I'm a president. It's quite a challenging task. When Queen Arnold was giving that role, I asked her if the shoes will fit me, and she said, "Pitch, I believe you. This shoe will fit you, and you actually have your own feet, so you'll be able to walk." And I said, "Let me take it. Let me take the challenge." I believe that people need to learn more about how to lead people, and to me, that's the space that I'm currently learning on how best I can be the president. And you're now an immediate president now, and you're working as an area director, right?
Yes.
So which means you have stepped further, and I'm looking forward to see that. Can I be an area director?
Indeed, you can.
Please convince me if it's the role.
If I've done it, you can do it too.
Not really. You're quite different from me. You have a heart that you have a strong heart that can carry a lot of stuff compared to me. Mine seems to be a bit weak sometimes. So if that is strong, I don't think if I can make it.
No, really. I believe in you. I've watched you as a leader. I've watched you as a friend. I'm sure that you can do it. You have what it takes to do.
What brought me into the leadership role was our two first club mentors, and I always give credit to them, Emilia Siwingwa and Ken Agutu. This guy took our club and built it and laid a foundation that made me realize that I'm going to be whatever I want to be. And I remember the first meeting in the boardroom with Emilia Siwingwa. We learned a lot about role taking, about engagement, about understanding the club and understanding each other, and being able to, take wings to each and every one of us. I took record of that day, and I said this is going to be a foundation to me, and I look forward to become the best. So I'm being challenged, but despite the challenge, I always learn from people like you and people like other mentors. Being an area director now, what are the key challenges that you experience in Toastmasters?
The key challenges that I experience is before that I was taking roles within my club. Like these are the people that Yeah, we feel like we belong to the same space. We are on to the same mission. But then when you step outside the club and take a role that involves a number of clubs,
Yeah.
then that's where the challenge comes. That when you set goals that, okay, I want to take these clubs into this direction, you find that each of the clubs have their own cultures. They each have their own expectations. And the unfortunate thing is you've been a member of one club, perhaps you haven't been very close to the other clubs, so it takes time and it takes extra effort to bring the rest of the clubs on board. So I can say that has been one of the greatest challenges, to bring everyone aboard to fulfill a single vision or a single mission.
Then I believe you are thinking of growing it further. How do you think of applying the knowledge that you're getting into clubs, into the field that you're working? Do you really see the value in what you're doing recently in the workspace?
Yes, I am seeing the
You're a
value.
researcher. You don't do presentations.
I do presentations.
You do
I do presentations. I communicate a lot with people from different backgrounds, with different knowledge levels. So the skills that I'm getting from Toastmasters, I find that they translate pretty well into my workspace. And the beauty of Toastmasters is I haven't only gotten a chance to practice communicating, but also leading. Now in my current role, in my career, yes, I'm not the president or the director of the organization, but it does take a good level of leadership skills to handle the tasks that I'm currently on. For example, things like interpersonal skills, how to interact with others, how to motivate others to do whatever role that you need them to do. I find that I borrow a lot of skills and things that I've learned in Toastmasters into my career
Then speaking
journey.
of leadership, you have mentioned probably 10 times. Speaking of which, what is your leadership philosophy? I believe there is different leadership philosophies, and I believe you're aware of. And what is your leadership philosophy? Some people believe that leadership is about influencing people, according to John Maxwell. And some people say, however, influence leadership about empathy, leadership about thinking of others. That's according to Simon Sinek. The author of Set. I know you read books, and these things are just coming out because of the books. Now, from the books and from the experience, what makes you? There is also the servant leadership concept, the transformative leadership concept. What is your concept of leadership?
My concept of my philosophy of leadership, I can say, stems from, as you've just mentioned, empathy. If you fail at empathy, I feel like there's a high chance that you will fail as a leader. Because when you're leading people, I think it's important to remember that these are people, they're human beings. They have like feelings, they have their own ways of thinking. So if you don't operate from that perspective of that, these are adults. First of all, the adults, they have their own minds, they also have their own feelings. I feel like you have a hard time leading them. So leading from an angle of empathy and understanding and caring, I think is very important.
Very important.
So I feel like that's my philosophy. That's how I would approach leadership.
I believe that Jenny's philosophy of leadership should be a takeaway for each and every one of us. We know that you have different styles of leader. She has been a leader. She's still a leader into different platforms. And speaking of Toastmasters, she has been there. She has built a club. She has continued supporting the club as a mentor. And she knows what leadership is. And to her, philosophy lies into thinking of people. Empathetic leadership is a key to what is your leadership style? Do you think of people that you lead, or you think of the principles and the guidelines and not think of people? Simon Sinek put it clear that if you want to lead people in any organization, think of them and not clients. Because the best leader is the one who listens and take care and nurture the people who bring the clients in. But you're thinking of client centricity instead of employee centricity in the organization, for example, you will never grow your business because it's people that goes to clients. The CEO cannot go direct to clients. leadership falls into the people you are reporting to and you're working to. Then out of leadership, now you have grown. You don't have, you have told us of you being single. I take it. Do you have other passionate activities that you're doing apart from Toastmasters? I know in Toastmasters there is a lot of activities that we do, right? We have a lot. You're not an artist, but you enjoy art.
I do.
Dar Toastmasters is currently preparing some sort of a painting. What is it called? A painting?
There's a painting affair that's coming up.
There's a affair that is coming. 25th of February, if I'm not mistaken. And, I'm looking forward to be there.
Me too.
My last time to draw was when I was in primary school. That was a long time ago. But I want to go there and paint my picture and express my philosophy. What is your other activities that you are currently doing? It's like different from being part of the Toastmasters. Do you go to other events? Do you go to sports events? Do you play basketball? Do you do swimming? So what is Jane as you speak today?
The things that I spend most of my time on outside my career in Toastmasters, some people may find them boring, perhaps to some extent.
Some yes. Not you. Good.
Yeah, one of the things that I spend a lot of my time on is learning how to invest. Learning investments, learning personal finance, financial freedom. Like, I'm intrigued by that concept.
That's why you had been to Edmond's event.
Yes, that's why I had been to.
Did you say hi to them?
I did.
All right. Okay.
I did. So learning investments, learning about the companies that I want to invest in, like knowing them as companies inside and out is something that is, first of all, intriguing, and second of all, entertaining, and third of all, I get to make money out of it. So that's one of the things that I spend a lot of my time on. In addition to reading books, I like music as well. As I've already mentioned, like, I enjoy art. Art in the form of music is something that I enjoy a lot, as well as going out to watch movies, hanging out with friends. Like, those are the things I do. Plus jogging and outside activities like hiking.
You're doing a lot. Are you a jack of all trades?
Almost. Almost.
Now, I have also been learning how to do marathons. And I did some. Sometimes I used to, right? I have 7 medals. 21 kilometers. I only do 21, and I'm looking for the 42.
I should come to you for advice.
Before I die, if God keeps me, I'll do 42. That's my aim. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'll make 42. So what is your focus when it comes to running, for example? Are you planning to do marathons? Do you have those marathons? How much do you run? 10 kilometers, 15, 21?
I plan to complete a half marathon. I don't have aspirations at the moment for like a full marathon, but at least 21 kilometers. But at the moment, I run 10 to 15 kilometers
10 to 15,
at a time.
Which is great. Yes. If you do 15, I'm telling you, you can do 21.
I believe you.
I've been there, and I've done this. I've been there. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And now taking back to the family. This is Jane. She's almost the jack of all trades. But if you listen to her conversation, she has some few stuff that she's putting pressure on, despite the fact that she does a lot. She has mentioned about investment. That's the key thing that you have to take from her. Do you do investment? Do you invest? Do you know what you invest? Do you know the returns? So the UTT and the bonds, and those are your languages right now, right? I wish I could learn like you. I'm not an investor, I'm a spender.
You should start investing.
Yeah, I should start investment as well, because I know there's value in what I'm doing. And Jen, I'm looking forward to see you somewhere along, getting down to the altar. And I know you have not given us that clear picture, but your eyes are telling me otherwise. There's something beyond.
Nope.
And anyway, I know when time gets, we'll be there. Now,
thank you for that.
Are you living alone in your home, or you have siblings that you're living with?
At the moment, I have the privilege of living alone.
That's a privilege.
It is.
Okay. So what do you do mostly when you're alone at home?
When I'm alone at home, one of the things I've realized is I enjoy solitude. I do enjoy my time on my own. Okay. There's a sentence I come across someday that there's a difference between being lonely and being alone.
So what shall you?
I am alone. Like I enjoy my solitude. I enjoy being alone without necessarily feeling lonely.
All right.
And it's a space that is my favorite. Like being on my own with my thoughts, doing the thing that I want to do without distraction from externally, I think is a beautiful thing.
Do you believe in the self-talk?
It does, and I do self-talk. In my mind, I also do self-talk in writing, and I find that it has transformed me a lot.
I like the word writing. I'm looking forward to write. You are reading books, Jane. You are doing a lot of events, I know. You are doing a lot of activities. You have been a leader. You are still a leader. You have a lot. Do you plan to come out with something tangible that the world will always have it as a masterpiece, that once you are not in, once you're not there, people use it as a legacy? What is your legacy if you're putting things on the scratch? Are you looking forward to bring some sort of a memoir so that people can know whether or not you existed? Or is it something that you're going to leave it the world the way you found it?
That's an interesting question, and putting my story on paper as a memoir, I think, is a noble thing to do. But at the moment, I can say that I'm still discovering myself.
You're still.
Yes, I still feel like there's a lot that needs to unfold within me. And once I feel that I have done that to a good extent, then I can think about putting my story on paper in form of a memoir or a movie or a play or a song or whatever for the world to have and keep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jane, if I decided right now with the team here to take you to an island, close your eyes, an island that you don't know, and put you there alone for 3 days, what are the 3 things that you take with you to stay with them for those 3 days in the isolated island alone?
What are the 3 things I would take with me?
You carry with you.
So they're limited to things, not people, just things.
Just things.
I don't think I'll have a lot to carry with me other than books. I think it would be an amazing because okay, I'm in an island. There is no distraction, so the thing that I would do the most would be to read. And one of the things that I'll carry with me would be my Bible, of course.
So it's a Bible.
Yes, a Bible plus other favorite books or books that I've been wanting to read. So I think I'll do that.
If I give a chance to add for you, I can add it too, and I can find, apart from the Bible, you can also have your sneakers, because sometimes you want to go around and walk or run. That's
I can do that
you
too.
can do that,
And maybe some beach wear.
That's why I wanted you to mention that. And some beach wears, and sometimes you can even have the 4th one if you want. And
that would be good food.
Good food, right?
Yeah.
What is the definition of your good food?
Well, food that I find interesting.
Chips?
No.
What do you like taking?
I like a variety of things.
As a healthy person, I mentioned chips to trick you.
Of course, like as a Tanzanian girl from Dar, like I do love chips. But
okay.
But yeah, there's a variety of other things that I like, including fish, biryani, and so many other things.
I like fish as well.
Yep.
You're coming from Mwanza.
Yeah, I'm coming from Mwanza.
Fish is a must for you to like it.
Yeah.
Guys, healthier focus for Jane is also something for us to learn. We take away great things from great people like her. In the isolated island, she will have no stuff, whether we like it or not. And don't forget to mention that she said about swimming wear?
Beach wear, yep.
Beach wear. Again, she might be liking swimming. Jane, I have learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot. And our family, which is watching us, is also learning a lot from you. In our conversation, I have noticed that you have so much to give to this world. And whatever you are giving, it is within you. This is what you feel that you have to offer to the world. But some people believe that you cannot give unless you receive. And to me, it's quite different. I want to hear from you. what is your focus? Receiving after giving, or giving and not considering about the receiving? What is your take as far as giving and receiving is concerned?
What is my take as far as giving and receiving is concerned? I like one concept that Oprah Winfrey shares a lot.
I like that.
And that is, you cannot give from an empty cup. Whatever you give, make sure it is coming from an overflowing cup.
Wow.
So in as much as I believe in giving, I also believe that it is important to give myself space to also receive. So I believe in both ways, but I think I will join Oprah in stressing that we should give from an overflowing cup. So that would be my philosophy around that.
So percentage-wise, will it be 50-50? I give 50, I receive 50? Will it be 60-40? Will it be 80-20?
It would be 70-30. I would give 70 and also make room to receive 30.
Wow, it's tasky to me. You have given me time. I don't have to give you. Now, Jane, you're giving me a task that I did not think of it in the first place. So you give me enough time and I have nothing to give. But that is true. Most of us fail because we give too much. And sometimes we feel that people are not giving us back. And sometimes we end up complaining that I was expecting this, but unfortunately I couldn't get it. But that is good. I also take the 70-30. I think that is something to take and for me to learn.
Yeah, they say it is better to give than to receive. Yeah, I believe that is true, but we should also make room to receive. Yeah. Not expecting, not making room from a place of expectations or entitlement, but still we should remember to make room to receive as well, because we cannot give from an empty cup.
Okay, cannot from an empty cup. So you get your cup filled and then you give.
Yeah,
if your cup is empty, you won't give.
There wouldn't be anything to give.
So if I give it because I have something.
Yeah, you give because you have something.
Guys, you cannot give if you have an empty cup. And that's a quote from Oprah. You like Oprah, right?
I do.
What makes you like Oprah?
Well, she has a way of bringing things out of people that are always amazing. He's one of the great interviewers that I know out there.
All right.
Yeah, so I love the art in her, and I also see it in you. I'm enjoying this. So
Seriously?
congrats. Yeah,
You're enjoying this?
I am.
I'm glad. To me, I believe that you have mentors. You have people that you're looking for, models. Apart from Toastmasters mentors and models that are growing you, what other models or mentors that you're seeing outside? And if you can mention at least 3 and what you're learning from them, from all those aspects. Do you have them?
If I can mention mentors, I think I'm blessed with many mentors from different walks of life.
Just pick 3 are the best ones that you are currently having.
3 of my best mentors. Well, my sisters would always be on the list.
All right, let's put them.
So from the aspect of how I approach life, perhaps how I approach relationships too, my sisters would be on the list. When we go to the side of personal finance, on the space of investments and things like that, there's a guy named Emilian Busara.
Yeah, I know the name.
Yeah, he's my mentor in that space.
Right.
Plus many other amazing people that I've met in that community. When it comes to my career at the moment, I think my supervisor would be like one of my greatest mentors in the public health space. When we go to other walks of life, I have mentors who I've never met before, like authors, podcast hosts, and so many other people out there, who I cannot mention, or who perhaps I haven't met physically, or we don't have like a one-on-one relationship. I think they've done a great job in mentoring me. So I can say I'm blessed with many mentors from different walks of life.
That question could have come to me will be a bit challenging because I have a million, I cannot even pick one. As you said, they affect us in our everyday lives.
Indeed.
And to me, I have this one person I always come close to. Every time I mention about me being what I am and what I am today, it's only one person who have changed me for better.
Who is it?
Les Brown, do you know the guy?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yeah, Les Brown did a great job to me, and he's really transformed my mind. And the rest had been doing it. Dr. Miles Monroe as well, as far as facilitation is concerned, communication is concerned. But Les Brown was giving me the energy to go on and push whatever I'm doing. My family, I have a lot of mentors, my young brothers, my parents as well, I know as you. They have been mentoring throughout the way, and this is what we grow each other. But different people along the world. When it comes to podcasts and that things, Kevin Hart, I follow a lot. Kevin Hart is also one of those people who gave me energy to say you can do it. Jay Shetty as well, I've read all his books, but I've listened too much to his podcasts. And all these people have ways of affecting us. Continue speaking of the same mentor. Do you have mentees?
Do I have mentees?
Now you're doing it. You spoke of receiving and giving.
And giving.
And now you have been receiving.
Now you're putting
your
me
cup
on a
is
corner.
full, right? Are you sharing it under the aspect of 730 concept? Do you have mentees?
I can safely say that I do. Again, in different walks of life, I do meet people. I'm always inspired by the young ladies that I meet. Well, I've lived a decent number of years in this world up to this point. I have learned a number of things. Like when I look back at my life, there are things or moments where I'm like, oh, I think I could have done that better. Oh, this could have done better. So whenever I'm interacting with girls, especially girls younger than me, I always find myself excited to share from my experience. Like, I always want them to draw from my experience, the lesson that I've learned. I always find the urge to help them do better than what I have done so far.
So your philosophy is probably to live the world better than what you find.
Indeed, to live the world better than I found. And one of the funny stories about mentors is my younger brother.
Right.
Like I graduated and started working way before he did. So by the time he started earning, like I stepped up and like, okay, like there's this and this you can do, like things like that concerning personal finance and investing and stuff like that. So it's only recently that we worked on setting a goal for himself on his personal finance side of things. And so like there's that day where he called me, was like, okay, like I'm done with this goal, mentor. So what's the next step? And I was like, I'm your mentor. I didn't know that. So I think one of my ways of giving back is doing things like that, like imparting knowledge to the next generation from my own experience and from the things that I've learned myself.
All right, that's quite impressive. Give me 5. Boom, that was very strong.
Thank you.
Giving back and making sure that others are learning from you, but again, making sure that she leaves the world better than she found it. And I think this is a very key point to take from Jane in our today's conversation. Are you there? Are you listening? Are you following? Do you have people who are actually admiring what you do? Do you have people who are ready to learn from you? Do you have people around you that you support? And if not, what are you waiting for? Jane is giving us the world that she is living in. Can we take at least, if not all, at least part of, if not half, of what she does? The target is to affect each other and create an empire that will transform each and everyone's life. And this is what you are here. As we are almost concluding our today's sessions conversation, I want to know, I have learned now, you have been quite impressive learning throughout your journey. You have told us everything about what your parents and the siblings did to you when you are growing. You have shared your experiences and the challenges through leadership as a Toastmasters and outside Toastmasters world, in work, etc. You have actually added value to mentorship concept and leadership as well, what we really expect to learn from you. And we are learning, and I believe in the family is learning. One thing which is actually carrying almost all this part of today's conversation is understanding that you are standing on your own feet as a woman. I don't call it your girl, I call it your woman, regardless, right? Mm-hmm. Even though I know ladies like to be called, I'm a lady, but I know because you're standing alone in yourself and you're building on your empire. And I know there's a lot of things that you want to say if you get someone to be with. You want to affect your family, to affect the future of what you have in your mind. The question comes, how can we, in just a summary, how can we benefit from you as Jane, Jane as a person who lives alone, isolated somewhere, doing her own things? What is the key takeaway for us to learn? If it could be one or two or three things that you have to live with from Jane, who is the current Jane we are talking to, what are the best things to learn from you in a summary?
Okay. Whoa, that's a heavy question.
It's not heavy.
The, a key takeaway or a thing to learn from me from the current Jane is to be comfortable with who you are and where you are. As human beings, we have ambitions, we have aspirations, we have things that we're always reaching out to. The thing that I would love for people to learn from the current Jane is that while we are striving for better, while we are striving to reach the things that we are aspiring for, we should also remember to accept and to enjoy the space that we are in, and to also celebrate ourselves. As we are reaching out for more, as we are reaching out to become better people, we should also celebrate how far we have come, and to also enjoy and not to resist the space that we are in as much as we want it to be better than it is. So that is the key thing that I would love to leave people with from the current Jane. Yes.
So the current Jane is always better than the previous Jane.
Indeed.
The Jane of the 20 years ago is slightly different from the Jane of today. And we hope that the Jane of tomorrow will actually be different from the Jane of today.
Indeed.
My family, my fellow followers, Jane of today want us to be comfortable in our spaces, to be comfortable in whatever we do, to be able to understand what you are supposed to do, but again to be able to contribute to the families and societies around us, but again to believe in what you do as the key elements that separates us from other beings. And these are the key and important things to learn from each other. As you are growing wherever you are, learn from the best. But make sure that you realize your value and add it to the people who are close to you. And make sure that you make them learn as much as you contribute to them. But don't forget, you're not in an island. You have to have a space for you to learn from them. And learning from them means exchanging, because life is about giving and taking. And thanks very much, Janie, for your today's session.
Thank you so much.
This is why we cannot afford it to let you go. Do you know why?
No.
Because the conversation seems to be very interesting, impressive. And you cannot give a room for you to go. We can go to the kitchen and cook and make sure that you eat, and then we conversate again. My family, till then, we're looking forward to have Jane in our next session. We are glad that she agreed to keep and give us more time. Thank you very much. It was an honor having you in this conversation.
Thank you, Peter.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.